Our rough winter pattern rolls on across central and eastern Kentucky. Additional rounds of rain and snow into parts of the region. I'm tracking them both coming up.
It only took seconds for an icy patch to send a father and son's SUV into a frozen pond.
It was cold, to say the least.
The teen.
Melting snow is causing a little bit of annoyance in eastern Kentucky. I'll show you the rising waters coming up.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon to you. We have been enduring another day of wintry weather. The good news, though, the forecast improving as we get later into our week.
Enduring is a good word. Our first WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day remains in effect as another band of snow and rain is moving across part of the area. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey, for an update. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, a lot of folks out there just throwing up the white flag of surrender right now to Old Man Winter, saying, please give us some better weather. Hang in there, my friends. It does get a little better, but before we get to the better, still having a little more ugly to go through. As you guys mentioned, another rain and snow band working across southern Kentucky. Live sky cams really showing the story that we were painting yesterday. Farther west, nothing showing up here from Frankfort, Louisville, and E-Town, at least in terms of fresh snow. Florence, you were too far to the north out of it, but look at the fresh snow into Lexington, parts of London, and especially Moorhead, Campton, into Jenkins, where areas just to the east of Lexington picked up on several inches of snow and, yes, heavy rains yesterday into the overnight, leading to some flooding problems. Flood warning continues until 8 o'clock for areas shaded in green across southern Kentucky until 7:15. Parts of Magoffin County, Kentucky River with some significant rises, though minor flooding is expected along the river there, especially into parts of Estill County. Winter weather advisory southeastern Kentucky and parts of western Kentucky. In between, we're seeing more of a rain and a snow mix out there. That northern edge can't quite get to Interstate 64. It's trying. Mainly light rain, though pockets of some snow now firing up across southern Kentucky, even though it's showing up in green. Far western parts of the state have picked up on a couple of inches already with this area of low pressure that will largely bypass the northern half of the state. That is weakening across Tennessee. We get that out of here, and it's full steam ahead toward a break in our winter pattern. 7-day forecast will highlight some positive for a change coming up in a little over 10 minutes.
Chris, thank you. A father and son survived a terrifying crash caused by slick roads.
Police say the pair's SUV hit a patch of ice on Belvedere Drive in Scott County, sending their car into a pond. WKYT's Victor Puente begins our First Alert Weather Team coverage. He talked to the son, who credits special training with saving the pair's lives.
This morning, a vehicle plunged into this frozen lake. Both of the people inside were able to make it out and onto the embankment before police or paramedics arrived. 17-year-old Michael Dahl told me that he and his father, Lance, were on their way to Frankfort when they hit a patch of ice while going around this curve. The next thing he knew, they were in this lake with water coming into the vehicle.
It just all happened very quickly. You just don't think about anything, honestly. It was cold, to say the least.
Michael was able to get his door open. His father followed him out. Both were able to get up on the embankment. Paramedics checked them out, but neither of them had to go to the hospital. Dahl says his training as a Boy Scout and a member of the Civil Air Patrol probably saved both of their lives.
I knew, we weren't sinking that fast, and that just told me that, you could open the door and get out.
Michael told me he did receive a small cut to his thumb, but other than that, neither one of them were seriously injured. In Scott County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Well, they are certainly lucky. Michael Dahl says he is also trained to be a pilot, and that training told him not to panic.
Good kid there. For many people, it's a relief to see the snow finally melting, but in some parts of our state, all that melting is causing another problem. WKYT's Sean Moody continues our team coverage from Estill County, where waters are rising as the snow disappears.
Red Lick Road here in Estill County is one of the usual trouble spots. Right now, it's just a nuisance. People who live around here say they're not concerned. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet reported several road closures in the area today, some in Estill County, others in neighboring counties. So far, a district spokesman said the high water wasn't threatening any homes. But a half-mile down Red Lick Road, Crooked Creek is within a few inches of the bridge. Not far away, the Kentucky River has been rising near some homes. Leon Durbin said he's not concerned about the water just yet, but if it does keep coming, he has a plan.
When it comes over that bank there, we start moving. move everything out of the basement. We usually bring it up here on the porch or stack it up on blocks down there or something. No, it usually don't get too bad. When it starts getting too high, you'll see them going out of here.
And Transportation Cabinet spokesperson I talked with said they expect this water to take a little while to go back down. In Estill County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
The National Weather Service expects the Kentucky River and Ravenna to crest at minor flood stage tomorrow. We have dozens of delays and cancellations for tomorrow, and you can find all that on WKYT.com, or we have the list on our WKYT News app. Frankfort police have launched an investigation into one of their own.
While investigators will say it stems from inappropriate behavior, they aren't telling us much else. WKYT's Monique Blair is live now in Frankfort with what we do know. Monique?
Well, Sam and Amber, just about an hour ago, Frankfort's Chief of Police, Jeff Abrams, announced that Patrol Officer Benjamin Sullivan has resigned after an investigation was opened on him. Now, the press conference was held here at the Frankfort Police Department about an hour ago. It was very short, and we were not allowed to ask any questions. Chief Abrams told us in a statement that the police department discovered Officer Benjamin Sullivan engaging in inappropriate conversations with an inmate at the Franklin County Regional Jail. So from there, an investigation was opened.
The patrol officer was questioned about the inappropriate conversations, and the patrol officer made the decision to resign from his position with the Frankfort Police Department. The city has accepted Patrol Officer Benjamin Sullivan's resignation.
Now, Frankfort Police told us they couldn't answer any questions because this is a personnel matter. I also reached out to the city attorney, who told me he would not be answering any questions on this matter. Reporting live in Frankfort, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. We also reached out to the Franklin County Regional Jail for more information, but we're still waiting to hear back.
A man convicted of killing a Lexington police officer will spend at least another 2 years in prison.
A state parole board spent about 45 minutes talking to Glenn Donahue before denying his request. WKYT's Hillary Thornton was there as Donahue made his case for freedom.
39-year-old Glenn Donahue spent about 45 minutes in video conference with the state parole board talking about his time here in prison and why he feels he should be released early. The hearing started out with parole board members asking Donahue what he had done to get to where he is now. That second-degree manslaughter conviction for the hit-and-run death of Officer Brian Durman.
I have an appeal in right now, so my 14th Amendment right says that I have equal rights and protection of the law, which means that I cannot or should not speak on anything that might later incriminate me. So I'm not at liberty to discuss that. The conversation then went to the convicted killer's criminal history, which includes numerous drug-related offenses and assaults. It's bad choices. Plain and simple, bad choices. You know, where the rest of my friends were going off to college and school and things, I saw the street life as, you know, somewhat appealing. Donahue also explaining several programs and courses he has completed while in prison. I've taken the liberty to read over the parole board's books, CPP policies and things of that nature. And it said you guys discussed what inmates been doing in here to better themselves or better reacquaint themselves with society. And that's what I've been aiming at, staying focused, staying busy, getting trades. The board spent about 10 minutes discussing Donahue's case, ultimately deciding to deny him parole, saying he could come back again in 2 years. In Elliott County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Donahue has less than 7 years left to serve on his 20-year sentence.
Deputies want to find 2 people suspected in a kidnapping. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Boone County. The sheriff's office says this pair took the man at gunpoint from the Quality Inn and Suites. Deputies say the victim told them the pair forced him to withdraw money from multiple ATMs before one of the machines took his card. The victim told deputies he was eventually assaulted and kicked out of the car. A new supplier for Toyota is moving into Woodford County, creating 54 jobs. The new Japanese company is called Howa. The 60,000 square foot facility in Midway will produce headliners for the Camry. Community leaders are excited about this new opportunity, saying job creation is just one step to economic growth.
More people using gas, more people are using the restaurants, those type of things, and that's just a really big benefit to having a good company here that brings 54 jobs here, and hopefully we'll get more in the near future.
The company plans to hire workers in September. HOWA will be up and running in October.
The Republican
President Obama says there is more than enough time for the Senate to consider a Supreme Court nominee this year. A seat is now vacant after Justice Antonin Scalia died last Saturday. Republican leaders have said the next president should choose the nominee. In a news conference this afternoon, the president took questions about the process and says he will nominate someone who is indisputably qualified. The center of the 2016 race for president has now shifted to South Carolina, and the state will hold its primary this Saturday.
Republican candidates have been racking up the miles in the Palmetto State, trying to reach undecided voters. As Craig Boswell shows us, there's plenty of people who still haven't made up their mind.
Donald Trump was back on the campaign trail in South Carolina Tuesday, a day after throwing jabs at a number of his GOP rivals.
These politicians are dishonest people. Wow. They are really, really dishonest people. They don't do this for Bush.
Earlier in the day, he snapped photos with workers at Tommy's Country Ham House in Greenville. Aboard a World War II-era aircraft carrier, Ted Cruz outlined his proposal to expand the military.
The nation must be prepared for the possibility of multiple near-simultaneous conflicts.
Some of the voters who attended this Cruz speech are going from event to event, trying to see all of the candidates as they're forced to make up their minds before Saturday.
Heard Jeb Bush last night.
George Klein calls his decision a dilemma after hearing both Jeb Bush and Cruz in the past 24 hours.
I could be very happy with either of them, or probably with Marco Rubio, too.
But you have to make a decision.
I have to make a decision, and it's coming up quickly.
Bush was back campaigning solo after appearing with his brother, former President George W. Bush, on Monday. He says he's not backing down, despite polls that show he's running far behind.
I want to win. I'm not doing this to lose. I mean, winning is to get a chance to govern, to serve, to change the course of the country.
Bush has 3 scheduled events in South Carolina Tuesday. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
Polls show Trump is far ahead in South Carolina, with Cruz in second. Storms created a trail of damage across South Florida this morning. Winds ripped off roofs and ripped letters off the sign at the Goodyear blimp hangar. People even had to fish furniture out of the ocean. There are reports of a tornado in the Miami-Dade area, but the National Weather Service has not yet confirmed it.
Pope Francis's tour of Mexico continued today. He held a mass for Mexico's clergy in Morelia, which is considered a hotbed of the country's drug trade. He urged priests to fight injustices and not to resign themselves to a society dominated by violence and corruption. The Pope began a 5-day visit to Mexico yesterday.
It's time now for better living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. The winter weather isn't just an inconvenience, it hits your bottom line too. Mary Maloney shows us how the cold and snow can melt your savings by spring.
More snow means more cold hard cash lost. Snow removal expenses and canceled flights add up, but the snowy weather can impact your bottom line too. Among the things driving up the cost of your snow days, the ease of ordering things online.
A lot of us engage in impulse shopping this time of year as we're sitting around the couch doing nothing. And it's particularly easy to do so when you have all your credit card information stored on some of your favorite sites. It's become too easy to do so.
The same goes for ordering comfort food. Multiple meal deliveries can eat away at a budget. Being snowbound can also mean a New Year's gym membership goes to waste. Consider online workouts at home until mobilization and motivation get better with warmer temperatures. And when you've cooled down from that workout, try throwing on a sweater.
And if you turn the thermostat down 10 to 15 degrees at night, you're going to save about 10% on your heating bill potentially every single year. So there are small things you can do around the house to stay warm and reduce your bills.
Things so your savings don't melt away by spring. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
Here's another reason pregnant women might want to limit fish intake. Researchers found pregnant women who ate fish more than 3 times a week gave birth to children with higher body mass index values. The effect was greater in girls than in boys. The FDA and EPA recommend pregnant women eat fish, but no more than 2 to 3 servings a week because of concerns about mercury. A popular type of heartburn medication might raise a senior's risk of dementia. Researchers found people 75 or older who regularly took proton pump inhibitors have a 44% increased risk of dementia. PPIs include drugs like Prilosec, Nexium, and Prevacid. Researchers say doctors should avoid overprescribing PPIs or inappropriate use. When it comes to drinking, millennials prefer a little wine. New research from the Wine Market Council found millennials drank 42% of all wine in the U.S. last year, more than any other generation. Millennials refers to Americans ages 21 to 38. USA Today reports the numbers work out to an average of 2 cases of wine per millennial.